Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
oh my God.
It's banned on YouTube. But we are live now, Canuck.
Oh,
Your
okay.
mic
Oh
is
yeah, I
hot.
see it. Yeah, I see it. All
Your
right,
mic
hey,
is hot. My hair, I didn't comb my hair today, so I apologize.
what's going on, man? All right, well, it's Sunday, so you know what that means. That means the Canuck and the Yankee are going to espouse, extrapolate, excommunicate. Well, not that, maybe. Yeah, it's just about time for the show. We're testing out the systems. We got a big one coming up. We're going to start out with small business, the impact on small business from everything from government regulations to COVID to the workplace mentality of the workers to who knows what. But a lot of businesses are small businesses and they tend to get overlooked. And then something you've all been waiting almost 4 years for. Yes, it's that time again. It's the Olympics. People are going to run around. They're going to jump. They're
The
going to
CCP Olympics.
well, they're going to jump through the CCP's hoops. That's for sure. We're going to tell you about that today. Everything's rather challenged.
We do have crypto news, of course. We've got
There's always
some
crypto.
stories on Kazakhstan, some analysis of that. Kazakhstan did have 18% of the Bitcoin hash rate, but that has been affected with the revolt and Russian troops coming in and internet blackout. And also, we have a crypto story from Jack Dorsey. Do you remember Jack Dorsey? Canuck?
Yeah, he was a fighter, wasn't he?
Huh?
No, it was Tommy Dorsey. Oh yeah, Jack.
Oh, boxer? Oh no, you're going way back, I think.
Yeah, well, I
No.
do go way back, man.
Jack Dorsey is not a boxer. He used to run a social media platform called Twitter or Twittriol. Well,
Vitriol.
something like that.
Yeah.
But then
You know,
he
I
left
had a
Twitter.
twitch. I had a twitch the other night, man. My leg was twitching.
Oh, it was in your leg. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Thanks
I had
for
to do. I had to do a
clarifying
couple.
that.
I had to do a couple Tylenols and a shot of brandy to get some sleep. You understand me? You know.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Well.
But Jack Dorsey has left Twitter, and it's been well known that he's a crypto freak of some sort. So he's working now with Bitcoin. He has Block, I guess. I don't know if that's the name of the product or his new company, but I'm looking into that. And the basics of it are he may be trying to make Bitcoin ASIC miners, as dedicated miners that are needed to mine Bitcoin, making them more affordable for the average miner. It's possible.
Yeah,
so
I know.
We're going to look at that. We're going to look at that because that's big news.
Well, we're going live in 3 minutes, so we either stay on, we get off, come back. I don't know, man. I mean,
what's that saying? Get off the something.
We got to get out of here so we can get back into here. You understand? Make it official.
We got to go so we can come back.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that soon.
I just came back to say goodbye.
Well, it is 3:56 p.m. here on the east coast of the United States, actually the northeast, and we're going to put back the Havoc video, and we'll be back on in 4 minutes with the Canuck and the Yankee.
It's going to be real.
We are live.
Are we live? Is this happening again?
We are live.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned to a Variant News feature production, the Canuck and Yankee show. And yes, we've been on the air for like months and months and months, 6, 7 months now. And we're still here. And we're going to continue to do this until the whole world is watching. Right now, only half the world's watching, right? Is that our demographic?
Around there. I think it's 3.75 billion right now that are
Yeah,
watching.
well, that's good enough. We're doing better than Joe Rogan. All right, well, today we've got some subjects that most people don't talk about. Well, the lead one is something people don't. They are affected by it to a large extent. A lot of the businesses that you go to or should be going to are small businesses, once called mom and pop businesses. Many times they're family-based businesses that employs the mom, dad, and the kids and stuff, but a lot of times they're just a few people that get together and work on a company. It tends to be fairly homogeneous many times. Not always, because depending on the boss. But we're covering small business today. And I think we're going to start things out with a YouTube video. It goes over kind of an overview of family business survey, what's going on out there. If we want to start with that, might get the ball rolling.
And then let me switch
we
over.
Got some statistics after that that are a bit more boring but significant.
So you want to start out with PwC's 10th Global Family Business Survey or something else?
Yeah, that sounds good. Why not?
1 minute. We'll just do the whole thing.
Family businesses make up more than half the world's GDP.
Still so much info.
They are engines of growth and recovery
Information.
in times of great challenge. Our 10th Global Family Business Survey confirms their resilience, financial strength, and optimism, and also reveals new opportunities. Our survey shows that most family businesses are involved in some type of social responsibility activities. They
Awesome.
are focused on closing the digital gap. And when it comes to their key priorities for the next 2 years, most are focused on upskilling employees.
They're focused on Bitcoin.
Tomorrow's family business requires a new approach for lasting success. So our message to you is clear. You have the opportunity to help rebuild not only the economy, but also public trust. This means harnessing your strengths, rediscovering your entrepreneurial roots, shaping the workforce of the future, and asking for outside help so you can see and address your blind spots. The time is now to secure your legacy for the future, align profit with purpose, and make your work even more meaningful. Let's begin.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was nice. PwC Canada on YouTube.
there you go. Go us. Yeah, well, small business here in Canada, what we call an SME, which is a small, medium size enterprise, an SME. Generally a business with 1 to 99 employees. And then they call a mid-sized business 100 to 499 employees. And over that, they call it big business.
Wait, so what is a small
A
business
small
in Canada is what? What
1
number
to
of employees?
1 to 99 paid employees in general.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Because on the U.S. side, for what I've researched, small businesses are 500 employees or less.
Yeah, well, they do have some
And that's
statistics.
bigger than any other place developed economy that I know of.
Yeah, well, they do break it down to smaller units as well in a later study. Now, mind you, SMEs do not include self-employed Canadians like myself, who I'm a professional musician, producer sometimes. And there's 3 million of us self-employed here in Canada, on top of all the other people in Canada that are working. And it's 1.22 million different employer businesses in Canada, and small businesses account for 97.9% of them, and only 1.9% are medium-sized businesses, and by the statistic, only 0.2% are large businesses. So we're very heavily into the situation here with small businesses. Now, mind you, small business contribute 37.5% to the gross domestic product generated by the private sector, and the medium size were 14.4, but the large ones contributed 48%. So even though very few people work for large businesses, statistically anyway, they generate most of the economic activity just because they're so large, which is an argument for there being lots of small businesses, because small businesses tend to be more labor intensive, therefore creating more employment, right? So that's basically it. Now, they call this, going back to what you were saying, there's what we call micro enterprises. Now, this is interesting. This is once again all Canada. Micro enterprises, that's 1 to 4 employees, and they make up 55.3% of all Canadian businesses. So almost half businesses in Canada have 4 or fewer employees. And then if you factor in the 5 to 9 category, that's almost 75%. So in other words, almost 3 out of 4 Canadians businesses have 1 to 9 employees. So obviously that's why I kind of brought it up, because statistically we have a lot of people employed in small business and self-employment. So what were you saying about the States? Is a similar situation, or less or more, or do you have
What
the
is
same?
States? I have the basic statistics on the show notes. There's 9.5 million self-employed,
That's about right.
and 30 million small businesses in the U.S.
Okay, so how many self-employed do you have?
9.5 million.
Okay, well, statistically, we have 3 times more self-employed people per capita than, based on my quick math on that one, because we have 3 million, you only have 9. We should have 30 million based. You should have 30 million based on 10 times the population. Okay, go on. That's just fun. I like stats.
The SBA says it defines small business as 500 or fewer.
Okay, well that would be
that's much larger. Europe, I think all of Europe, it's pretty much 50. If you have 50 employees or less, it's a small business. But
well, we call that medium-sized business here, 1 to 499. That's interesting. Okay.
But
does it break it down any farther, or?
Yeah, when there's bunch of stuff in here. How many small businesses are there? So there's 30.7 million in the U.S., which account for 99.9% of all U.S. businesses.
Mm-hmm.
How many jobs are created by small businesses? Small companies create 1.5 million jobs annually and account for 64% of new jobs created in the U.S. Small and medium-sized businesses are major drivers of global economic growth. Over 90% of the business population represents small and medium-sized businesses, also known as SMEs. That's what, like, the 500 or less is really a mid-sized business. So I don't know why the SBA considers 500 or less a small business. But it's just weird how they're doing that. What is the most common reason for opening your own business? And there are many reasons why people might be motivated. But this is interesting because of the pandemic and the economic issues we're going through.
Right.
I think a lot of people are in this boat, right? They're
thinking moving away from some job and finding that if they work from home, start their own little business, micro business. Of course, with the internet now, people can start small manufacturing, market them through YouTube or Amazon or whatever. I think you're probably going to see this trend continue, I would imagine. Up here in Canada, we haven't seen as much of a shift because most people are fairly happy with where they're at. And also, like I mentioned, 3/4 of them are already working for a small business. And once you start working for a small business, I would imagine it's different. Like if you're working for a business that's only got 4 employees and you go in to quit, that's 25% of the workforce. So they probably care. They're going to encourage you to stay. Whereas if you're working for a company that's got a couple thousand employees, they go, I'm going to quit. They go, we don't care. You know, pick up the slack.
Yeah, I mean, I think the self-employed numbers are definitely going to go up from that 9.5 million around there. I think it's you'll see in the next 2 to 5 years. Who knows? But it should increase dramatically.
No, I think small business and self-employed. Now, I've been fortunate to be able to be self-employed most of my life, and there is a certain freedom if you want to adjust your schedule or whatever. I have worked in retail, as the Yankee well knows, because we both worked at the infamous Guitar Center on 9th and Mission in San Francisco, which is an absolute 3-ring circus. Actually, it was a 4-ring circus. We had the drum ring and the accessories ring and the guitar ring and the pro audio ring where we were in. That was fun.
Pro audio was the best. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, man, we rocked. So there's a lot of different things. Now, going back to Canada, I got this out of an opinion piece from somebody, Policy Opinions, IRPP.org, whoever they are. But in it says this is an opportunity to think outside the box. And they're talking about the challenges of COVID and other factors on small businesses and taking a real hit. Very difficult to maintain a small business in these times with particularly the COVID, but other factors. It's tightened up credit and stuff like that. And of course, a small business is not as flexible and doesn't usually have the reserves big businesses. So he says this is an opportunity to think outside the box beyond simply cutting red tape, which is to do with regulations. Canada's government should embrace regulatory innovation. Other countries such as the United Kingdom and France are using technology to better manage compliance and adopt risk-based models that make regulation more efficient from the beginning. All right, now this is something that Americans are probably really going to have a hard time figuring out because we can't figure it out. Now, harmonization of federal, provincial, and territorial rules is another opportunity to help small business grow while keeping Canada safe. Currently, employers' ability to operate their business across borders, access talent are hindered by differences in interprovincial rules around certification, environment, worker, and building safety. Okay, and also transportation, securities, professional certification, agri-food, marketing, food safety, and more. And what I'm talking about is, believe it or not, we have interprovincial trade regulations here in Canada. In other words, if you're in Alberta
and Quebec have
Yeah.
all these crazy regulations.
Well, okay, even like out here in the West, if you want to do business in Alberta and you're in BC, you got to go through all kinds of hoops to get your business certified in Alberta, and they might not let you. Let's say that you are a brewery or something. Well, you can't just transport alcohol across the provincial line because we got all these rules left over from something that is actually, this is not international trade. This is within Canada. There are tariffs, there are regulations. If you want to get a lawyer, you can't get a lawyer from BC. You can't get a lawyer from Alberta because they're not certified. Same thing in healthcare. Same thing in a whole lot of things. So that's way to not go Canada. We've got a few leftovers from, and of course the provinces all have their own justifications for wanting these things. In other words, Newfoundland doesn't want cheap wine from Quebec or something. I don't know. I haven't studied it, but I just wanted to make you aware that that is one of the more absurd things we have here. It just, this is my opinion, also one of the absurd things is that the Queen of England is the head of state here in Canada, which doesn't make any sense either. But What the heck? I don't now. In the States, I think there may be some interstate regulations, but I don't think it's to the same extent as here in Canada. It's really organized here. I'm not sure though.
Are there links on the Canadian side? You got a bunch of stuff up here. You got 150.statcan.gc.ca.
Yeah, I kind of quoted from all of that. Yeah, I kind of quoted
Hmm.
from all of those things. The only other graphic that you might want to show is all the different grants that Heritage Services in Canada is putting up.
The
Like
funding, culture, history, and sport.
I mean, it's like ridiculous. See, there's so many friggin' grants that it's insane. Canada.ca, English, Canadian Heritage Services
Yeah, let me
funding.
give me a second here.
Oh, yeah. That looks like the Canadian government websites, all the federal government websites, they all look like that. They have the same layout.
So there's the show notes are in the chat. Check it out. Also, if you're in the chat, type something.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so this
Is there
is
anybody out there? Come on.
This is off the main Canada.ca domain. Funding, culture, history, and sport. Lots of stuff on here. So if you're a Canuck, check this out.
I just skimmed through it. It's just
Canada Arts Presentation Fund, Athlete Assistance Program, Anti-Racism Action Program. That's my favorite. Canada Cultural Spaces Fund, Canada History Fund, Canada Media Fund. It just goes on and on. It's a hyperlink fiesta. Check it out. Local Journalism Initiative, Canuck. I think you should check this out.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Let's check it out.
I don't usually do grants. Now, back when I used to drink whiskey, I would use the saying, while you're up, get me a grants. Remember that one?
No, but
no,
maybe it's maybe
it was
maybe in a
an
past
old
life.
commercial.
Maybe in a past life.
I had this guy sitting there. He would go, he said, "Oh, while you're up, get me a grants."
Is Grant's beer or what? It's whiskey?
No, it's a whiskey. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a Scotch. It's a Scotch.
Wow.
Not very good. Not especially good. But anyway.
Wow.
Well, just a wealth of information you don't need. I think I've been watching too much Joe Rogan. I'm starting to turn into.
Yeah, you got to stop that, man. Joe Rogan will just.
Listen, success is worth emulating. This guy's got 11 million viewers. We've got 11. All right, so come on. I'm not taking this lightly. I'm going to phone him. I'm going to get him on the show. I don't give a damn. What do we got to do? Get Tucker Carlson?
We've got any word in the chat saying, I lived in Potrero Hill in the Mission 2 different times. All right, well, yeah, I was living there, the dog patch, which is like the bottom of Potrero Hill.
Yeah.
Right on 3rd Street where they built that train line. By the baseball stadium. Are they still call it Pacific Bell or whatever? But yeah, no, I live there.
I think they changed it to
Google
or something. Yeah, that was a nice place. I like that place. It had that little yard in the back, little tuck away thing there. It was funky.
Yeah, we had a pit bull. We were doing all right.
Well, technically, 9th and Mission isn't technically in what's known as the Mission. Well, it sort of is, but it's on Mission. We were like right off of Market, like 3 blocks from the infamous 6th Avenue. And if you're going to San Francisco, I would suggest just skip 6th Avenue if you're like any kind of normal person. I mean, I'd skip the Tenderloin too. Anyhow, enough of this travel log stuff. So what else you got down there? What are you guys doing for funding? You're mostly private funding down there, right? For small business or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go quick over the self-employed stuff, just real quick. Top self-employed stats. So we already did 9.5 million, but 7 out of 10 people in the world are self-employed. That's wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if I buy that, but that's pretty crazy. You're saying 70% of the world is self-employed?
Well, if you count like a farmer with 3 acres of land in India, he's self-employed. So I think that's where it skews it.
Important one here: 96% of self-employed workers don't want to return to a regular job. So
Yeah.
We'll see how how the economy restructures itself. And 55% of U.S. self-employed workers experience less stress. And of course, the notorious real estate brokers. 55% of them are self-employed. I should be a real estate broker.
Yeah.
I think the average
Well,
income.
yeah, you'd be good.
Average income in the U.S. for self-employed, $83,000.
Yep.
And
Nice.
obviously there's a $5,100 increase in self-employment taxes. Taxes are obviously much more complicated when you're self-employed, but
Well, you get more deductions
I have
too,
to
though.
say that it's worth it.
If you play your cards right, you can deduct more stuff as a self-employed
Oh yeah,
person.
you have many more things at your disposal to write things off and
Now, mind you, you
appreciate.
got to be more diligent because unless if you're really smart, you'll be withholding through the year, but most small businesses don't. So then they got the tax bill at the end. But yeah, and the thing about being self-employed is that if you're not getting along with your boss and you're self-employed, then you're probably gonna have to go for therapy or something because, I mean, what can I say? Yeah, okay. What else you got for Americana?
The basic. Well, 2020, according to self-employment statistics for 2020, self-employed increased by 12.7%. We don't have statistics for 2021 yet, but I would think we'll have to see. What could be another yet increase. That's the basics of that. I want to move on to. Oh, this is 2015. I'm just going to leave it here as a reference, but this is pre-pandemic, pre-COVID statistics, 2015. Somebody wants to check that out. I want to check out this small business. Oh, we did this already. What am I doing here? Here's the funding and assistance, and there's a lot here. The SBA.gov is the main site. If you're working with an accountant, they're going to direct you to SBA.gov. But here's straight from home.treasury.gov. There's COVID stuff. There's small business tax credit programs, emergency capital investment program, paycheck protection program. I'm not sure. Some of this stuff may be ending. But it's worth looking into. I'm going to be going through these again for Variant News. I'm definitely looking into some kind of grant, trying to focus maybe on a crypto-related grant, but I don't know if that's doable at the government level. This is uschamber.com, 48 grants, loans, and programs to benefit your small business. There's federal stimulus aid, government grants, and grants.gov. Really good link to start the search. Companies crushing pollution video challenge. The United States Environmental Protection Agency is hosting a challenge to promote pollution prevention and celebrate companies committed to supporting reduction practices. Wow. So it's not climate change, it's pollution. You got it right here.
We're
right?
going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
About that later.
Stay tuned.
National Institute of Health grants, Rural Innovation Stronger Economy grants, Small Business Innovation Research Program, lots of stuff here. And so if you did quit your job, there is stuff out there. You got to do your research, but lots of links here.
Nice.
Just going to go through this one quick. This one I'm wondering. With the COVID pandemic stuff, we're kind of going through a transition. It's
no doubt.
Omicron is less lethal, and I don't know what the state of all this stuff is up in the air. A lot of this COVID-related relief.
Yeah, that no pun intended. It's up in the air.
No doubt.
It's really difficult. I mean, right now, the government's popularity is dropping. They're like your president. I mean, supposedly, who's your president, according to most people. You know the guy, Joey Biden. Anyway, his popularity is really low, and the main reason apparently is because people feel they're not getting proper guidance on the regulations. And I'm not in a position to defend government officials because that's a slippery slope. But I mean, they're trying to figure out what's going on. It's difficult, but it's really difficult for businesses. I've got 2 live venues I'm in negotiation with for next summer, but we don't know what to do because we don't know if we're going to be able to sell tickets. We don't know if we're going to not be able to have people. So until this thing settles into some kind of groove.
Yeah, it goes back to leadership,
Well, the leadership is
from local,
like
regional, all the way up to federal, both Canada and U.S.
Well, it's difficult to come up with one set of rules, say this is the way, because the situation's fluid. That's all I'm saying. It's a small defense of the administrators. But the bottom line is that without that guidance, it's really hard for us business people to plan. And it's the same thing with I'm in negotiations with several live venues that want to do things, but they really don't know if they're going to get shut down because, like, let's say we launch a show at a club. I mean, there's considerable promotion that goes into it and getting it all together. And then we go to all that trouble and then we get shut down. It's not going to be good. So, yeah, okay, go on.
Well, we're just going to finish up. We should finish up the small business. We're
Yeah,
at
we better.
427 here. So, but I just wanted to briefly mention New York Ben's Gastos. How will restaurants survive? New York City's natural gas ban is now law. What that means for clean energy. And this is we're going to have an editorial section on the climate change, the climate hysteria. But this right here, this story relates to that because there's all this climate change, focus on climate change and social media. All the big news outlets are promoting it, discussing it, and then you get regulation like this.
Yeah.
And it's from what I can gather, it is for new buildings in New York City. They're not going to go banning natural gas that you have. You'll be grandfathered in if you have an existing building.
Yeah. And that does touch on something that we discussed, and it does tie into the small businesses challenges, regulations. I shared with the Yankee a story about when I was working down in California. I was working for a sound company as a tech, and the owner of the sound company also owned a wrecking yard, and it was in I think it was in Fremont or something south of Oakland. And he said to do anything, he had to go to the city, he had to go to the Alameda County, he had to go to the state of California, and he had to go to several federal bureaus to get permission to say he's building a fence or something. And then he goes through the hoops, say, with the county, and then the county says you got to do this, and then the state says you got to do something different. And as you well know, California is regulation central. And he was at the point of just ready to sell the whole damn place and move on, because he said every time he wanted to do anything, it wasn't just going to one government. He went to the city, the county, the state, and the feds, and sometimes multiple departments of each of those things.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And regulations, it's like, when the path to hell is paved with good intentions or something. But a lot of these things I do not think are thought through properly, or the fallout, let's say, is not followed. It's not thought through properly by.
Yeah. So this natural gas ban is going to take effect in December 2023, and I still am not finding any information. We'll cover it on a future stream, but no one is discussing how a restaurant is going to function in a new building in New York City after 2023, after this isn't enacted.
Yeah, you're not going to find electric stoves. You've got 4-star
restaurants. It's New York, it's world renowned. Well, supposedly world renowned for their restaurants, right?
Hey, you got good ones, yeah.
And you can't cook with gas. I mean, you have to cook with electric. It's just, it's going to be one of those things where certain restaurants are going to be allowed, but they're going to have to pay a lot of money. That's probably what's going to happen.
Well, if
Typical
you got
New
enough
York
money,
City. Where
I think it's been proven that if you got enough money, you can do anything you want.
But it's climate change, and the world's going to end. But we'll move on.
Okay, well, move on.
We're gonna do the Biden administration real quick. The Supreme Court ruling. So Biden had a vaccine mandate with OSHA. The main thing is the 100 employees or more requiring vaccination, and then testing if the worker doesn't get vaccinated. But the Supreme Court has ruled on this, and we'll load up. National Law Review, U.S. Supreme Court rules on vaccine mandates from OSHA and CMS. So much anticipated opinions concerning the Occupational Safety and Health Administration's emergency temporary standard on vaccination and testing, and CMS Medicare and Medicaid programs, omnibus COVID-19 healthcare staff vaccination interim final rule. That was a lot. So the court stayed the OSHA ETS from taking effect pending resolution of the case in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. But my understanding is that the ruling for companies with 100 employees or more, OSHA cannot mandate that workers be vaccinated. But as far as hospitals, yes, and in the medical ecosystem, healthcare. Industry, they can do that. But while this was being decided, it came out how misinformed Justice Sotomayor has been. She stated that over 100,000 children in the U.S. were on ventilators due to COVID. She also made comments that, and I'm paraphrasing, but humans are like robots that emit toxins. And we're just going to do we're going to do like 30 seconds on this. This is from Joshua Phillips from Crossroads. Very good reporting from him. What did I say? 350, right? So let's just get that queued up. We're going to do about a minute.
Okay.
But he goes over this, and it makes you wonder where are Supreme Court justices getting their information from? Don't they have, like lawyers and law firms, they have paralegals, and that's all these paralegals do is collect information, do research. What does the Supreme Court have? Where is Justice Sotomayor getting her information from? How could she be misled?
Meanwhile, on this FDA mandate and the Supreme Court looking at it, the Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who's Democrat appointed.
Okay, I just want to give a shout out. Any word?
The Democrat.
He lives in Lake Merritt. I know that area.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Says it's all garbage. COVID destroyed Oakland. Oakland was actually turning into a destination prior to. Yeah, go Oakland. Go Raiders. Yeah.
We have Sieg Hero 11 in the chat saying, "I think you need vaccines. You are looking paid."
Oh well.
Well, yes, I have been paid off many times, but I'm not sure if that's. I can't remember if it's because of vaccines.
I think I'm getting paid tonight. I got a gig. I'm not getting paid for this, by the way. If you guys want to pay me for doing this, you can send a check to Variant News, and I know anywhere the Raiders aren't in Oakland, they're in Las Vegas, okay, But I mean, once a Raider fan, always a Raider fan. No, they lost yesterday too, by the way. Anyway, enough of the sports news. Oh, we're going to go on to sports. Anything else? Oh, we're going to play this video. All right, let's move on.
But Patriots got spanked by the Buffalo Bills. So I just wanted to.
Oh, I like the Bills.
Not that I'm a Bills fan, but I don't like. Oh, not the Patriots. Was it the Patriots? Yes. Help me out here.
I don't know. I missed the whole damn thing.
I gotta look.
All right. I've been too busy for football.
All right, let's just get through this clip.
Supreme Court looking at it. The Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who's Democrat appointed, folks. The Democrat Supreme Court Justice, again, Sotomayor, she's under a lot of fire right now because she made a lot of statements, some that are not true at all, and some that are pretty bizarre, suggesting that people are basically like inhuman machines that And if you're unvaccinated, you're like a machine that emits toxins. Let me explain. Sotomayor is facing criticism for some of her statements.
God.
First, she falsely claimed that there are upwards of 100,000 children hospitalized in the United States for COVID-19 and that many are on ventilators. It's not true. And she lied. She's a justice and she lied.
First off, it's very hard to get information on this because the HIPAA privacy rules over health in the U.S. But you would think the Supreme Court should at least have access to that, right?
Well, why don't you go down there?
And
come on, you're close. Like,
from what I could gather, it's probably around 5,000 kids on ventilators, or some ventilator serious condition. But
it's too many.
Right, let's finish it up. It's only like another 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Right.
After media had a field day debunking her claims, the CDC itself stepped forward. The CDC director came forward to also explain the judge claims were false. Rochelle Walensky, again, CDC director, told Fox News that
she's
there
awesome.
Are not 100,000, but instead about 3,500 children in hospitals. That's the entire United States who have tested positive for the CCP virus. And she also said it's not clear how many are on ventilators, meaning that the judge claimed there are 100,000 kids hospitalized. Many are on ventilators. There's no data on that. The CDC itself does not have this information. And so she lied in court, basically.
Well, did she lie or was she just misinformed and she's ignorant? We'll see. If we find out for sure, we will let everybody know. But we do need to move on. It is 4:37 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Here.
So much for
on my end of things. So we will move on. Let me do some cleanup here.
All right. Any word? Used to be a big fan of the Oakland A's. Jose Canseco, way to go. I've seen them play. I've seen them play a few times. It's pretty cool. One time, a friend of mine was doing lights for InSync, and they were in the hockey rink, and the A's were playing in the Coliseum. What a circus down there!
All right, let's focus because I'm not going to actually. We'll just do it real quick. The Canucks saying not a lot of people have quit their jobs. There's no great resignation in Canada, but in the U.S. there is. And Americans are quitting their jobs at an alarming rate. The number of workers quitting jobs vaulted to 4.5 million from 4.2 million above the prior record of 4.4 million reached in September. And employers posted 10.6 million job openings, down from a near record 11 million the previous month and just below July's all-time high. So the numbers are big, and I'm also seeing, there's supply chain shortages, a lot of logistical problems with ships getting to both Canada and the U.S. But that also the other angle is that there's not enough labor to stock the shelves and truckers and all that. So it's a combination of those things, I think, that are just creating so many issues.
A factor we discussed, too, is that working class jobs don't have the same status, so people don't want to be a plumber or a truck driver. They want to be something fancier.
They want to be an influencer on TikTok. TikTok.
It's easier. But the hardworking people, I think they should, if they were getting more respect, and it was being promoted in the schools with training and orientation, I think that would help. Right now it's, you're a plumber. Well, yeah, you're making $130,000 a year fixing pipes, but you're doing something. What's an influencer on YouTube really accomplishing their life? Okay, well, can we move on?
We're going to just finish up with interest rates. The Fed here in the U.S., possibly 4 interest rate hikes, so every quarter this year, and maybe more in 2023. And this, as far as loans, people, and if you've got a credit card, those interest rates are going to go up. So we've got to look at, the whole entire economy is in need of restructuring.
Duh.
And interest rates are going to be going up, so that's not going to be good. But that's it for the small business section overall, economic outlook, all that. We're going to get to the real meat and potatoes. It's 4:40 p.m. We were supposed to have gotten done with small business in 15 minutes, but we screwed everything up. So we just have to keep going. We have to keep going.
No, what we did was we did due diligence and went in deep and gave you all the facts. Now, digest them. Now we can move on to the fun stuff, which is China's 2022 Winter Olympics. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, you can't go. Nobody gets to go. And we're going to start out with I'm just going to leave it to you. I got the show notes here.
Yeah, I'm just going to start loading stuff up. Let's just let's do the first. Well, actually, yeah, we're actually going to be covering Kazakhstan also.
Yeah.
So we covered Kazakhstan. We covered Kazakhstan last week, and we're covering the China Olympics. But we also want to cover the issues with China, CCP's Belt and Road Initiative. So we're just going to do first.
The world has watched on with concern the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we talked about
the
Kazakhstan last week and the dynamic.
Since
and this is how China figures into it. Obviously, for those of you who've been in
the country's importance in terms of raw materials
watching reruns
trade
of three companies for the last week, Russia
Europe
is assisting Kazakhstan in putting down a revolt, and China is caught
is also
watching, and they're not happy. Go ahead.
Watching closely.
The Korgos Logistics Center on the Chinese-Kazakh border shows how important Kazakhstan is for China. Freight trains set off from here in the direction of Europe. Korgos is a vital link in China's Belt and Road Initiative. And Kazakhstan has acted as a secure transit country for European markets. China also relies on Kazakhstan for raw materials. The country has large deposits of copper, uranium, zinc, gold, coal, and oil. The more than 2,000-kilometer-long pipeline from the Caspian Sea pumps 20 million tons of oil to China every year. Kazakhstan is also an important transit country for gas from Turkmenistan. No wonder China is interested in its neighbor's stability. China is willing to increase cooperation.
So that's the basics of it, but China, CCP is definitely not happy about what's happening in Kazakhstan.
No, it's not good. They've got to get their stuff to Europe, and they got to go through Kazakhstan. Of course, they're going through Russia too, but it just shows you how complex these things have become. It's not like in the old days, like Attila the Hun just went in, invaded stuff, but now there's all this economic stuff. All right, go ahead. What do you got next for the kids out there?
We're going to move on. We'll move on to CCP Olympics COVID lockdown. We got a couple YouTube videos here. Let's belt through them.
China is on.
It's a very challenging situation.
This is CNBC.
COVID protocols that had been relaxed after the height of the pandemic here in early 2020, now back. Negative COVID tests are required again to come to Beijing as China battles its first local outbreak of Omicron. Travel has all but been suspended out of the nearby port city of Tianjin, what social media has dubbed the front line of the country's battle against Omicron. When the first 2 cases were confirmed there, authorities went into overdrive, mass testing the city's 14 million in 2 days. Since then, dozens more have been confirmed, some elsewhere in China, still traced to Tianjin. The source is unknown. How long the new strain has been here, unclear. Omicron symptoms are not too severe, this health advisor says, but it would be a mistake to take it lightly.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of lockdowns.
Yeah,
leading up to the Olympics. Anyway, any region related to the Olympics, they've been total lockdown. People can't oil, coal for heating. Yeah. They've banned that. Leading up to the Olympics, trying to get the air cleaner. They're just in a clamping down frantically, trying to make the air cleaner, and that it goes back to it's straight up pollution, and it should be fixed. But now they're on the world stage, so they have to.
Yeah, they did the same thing in the Summer Olympics a few years ago, but that was summertime, so it didn't matter as much. It's winter there now. And it kind of goes to a bigger Olympic topic. How often the Olympics are held, the government subsidizes them with the people's money, and the people really don't get much out of the deal, except for aggravation. But that's a
Let's do a quick video. This is France
for the 2022 Winter Olympics. Thousands of athletes from around the world will soon come to China to compete, this time during a new global surge of COVID-19. As finishing touches are made to the sprawling 3 sites that will host the Games, Chinese officials have announced a strict protocol to prevent the spread of the virus.
The 3 sites of the competition, Beijing, Yanqing, and Zhangjiakou, will function as separate zones. The Olympic sites and residential facilities in each zone, including space for the media, will all operate as a closed-loop bubble of protection.
There it is, closed loop.
The athletes themselves have to meet strict requirements. They must show proof of vaccination completed at least 14 days prior to their arrival, no contact with the public, and daily PCR tests. International spectators are already banned from the Games, and if locals are allowed, it's expected to be limited. Meanwhile, the Chinese government has taken drastic steps domestically, implementing what it calls a zero COVID policy, leading to the lockdown of some 14 million people in the cities of Xi'an and Yuzhou. With the Omicron variant circulating at a staggering pace, and with the world watching, China hopes that drastic steps will keep the virus from becoming a game changer.
All right. How green can the Olympics be?
Yeah, well, they're
in here. Mm-hmm. This is CBS News. How green can Beijing's Green Olympics really be? And China wants to use the Beijing Winter Olympics to showcase its green credentials, but there are concerns over the environmental costs of the Games relying on artificial snow in one of the driest places in the country. It is difficult to independently verify Beijing's claims around the Games, which begin on February 4th, everybody. And environmentalists told AFP they fear a backlash from authorities if they analyze Beijing's green targets. Now, I'm hearing, I'm not sure if we have a direct link for this, but if you're an athlete, or part of the support team or whatever, you're going to the Olympics there, and you speak out against the Chinese government, the CCP has stated publicly that you will not be able to leave the country. They will detain you.
Whoa!
So that was interesting. You would figure they wouldn't make that public knowledge and just. But I guess they have an angle on it.
Yeah.
And so, continuing with the article, big promises. China has pledged to power the Games using only wind, hydro, and solar energy, despite relying on coal to power nearly 2/3 of its economy. The city of Zhangjiakou, one of the 3 Olympic hubs, has installed wind farms spanning hundreds of acres that can produce 14 million kilowatts. China's economy has relied on decades of coal fuel growth and is still building more coal-fired power plants than the rest of the world combined. In an attempt to clear Beijing's notoriously smoggy skies before the Olympics, coal stoves in 25 million households in northern China replaced with gas or electric. Tens of thousands of factories were also fined for exceeding emission limits. Steel plants around Beijing have also been ordered to cut production by half. So we will see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in this next video or not, or if we're going to play it, but they were showing that the green energy thing down there in China, whatever. They're going and building all kinds of solar farms, but in many cases are just going in and telling the farmers, hey, guess what? We're going to put all these solar panels all over your land.
I think there's this one, right?
I think it's a YouTube video. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, I have the on YouTube video loaded. Human cost of China's green energy rush ahead of Beijing Winter Olympics.
Yeah, I think it's kind of powerful, and it just goes to show you what the CCP, if they want to do something, the people do not stand in their way.
Let's check out a little bit of this.
The upcoming Beijing Olympics to be a one-of-a-kind event for many reasons. It aims to run the games on clean energy for one, and for this it has been building large solar parks. But behind the scene is the dark reality of land grabbing and forced evictions. Our next detailed report shows you how.
Farmers in China's Hubei province have been living in poverty. But a year ago, their situation was much better. They had a steady income until they were forced to give up their land for solar farms. They say that they received little compensation from the firm which is building the facility.
When using all this land, is it within their rights? The company tells us they are a legal enterprise. Of course they are a legal enterprise, otherwise the country wouldn't give them a license to operate. But how about us farmers? Aren't we legal citizens too, part of the People's Republic of China?
Several farmers in the region have a similar story to tell. Hebei province is one of the venues of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games. China has vowed that global sporting event will be run entirely on wind and solar energy. The plan is ambitious, and it's the ordinary people who are paying the price.
That is insane. Look at that. I'm going to do that again, man. This is just a massive solar array.
Yeah.
It just stretches. Look at that.
I know.
Are they going to try to continue to just keep this operating, or are they just doing this for show? It's like,
no, this is happening, dude. This has got nothing to do with the Olympics. Well, not directly to do. This is what they do, but
they just they build like so fast, and it's just
like here. If like say they want to build a solar farm, they got to go to the landowner and the county and the state, the government, and get all these permits. And China, that's why China's kicking it, because when they want to do something, they don't let things like people's rights or nothing get in their way. They just say that's it.
Well, let's check out
China has vowed
20 seconds
that global
here.
sporting event will be run entirely on wind and solar energy. The plan is ambitious.
Look at that.
And
holy shit. And it's like, I'm wondering if these panels actually can, they got to be able to move to get the most direct sunlight, but they're not putting them on flat surfaces, they're putting them on hills.
Yeah,
I mean, it just seems insane.
They're all angled. They're probably just in place, I would imagine, but there's so many of the darn things.
Holy shit.
It's the ordinary people who are paying the price.
That's the way to do it.
They've been caught in a web of land grabbers, corporations, and corrupt government officials. Locals say they were beaten.
Yeah, but that's when they do it, it's it. You have no rights.
It's the way they do things. Human rights are not. Well, they say they're all about it, but not really. All right, speaking of building things, we got some pretty pictures. You want to show them the pretty pictures?
Well, we got the venues. You want to do the venues quick?
Yeah, it's just from the officialolympics.com.
Beijing 2022 Olympic venues. Wow, look at those fireworks.
This is coming from the source, baby, the IOC. And this is what the people of China have spent their money on. They can't go to it.
So there's the Beijing zone, which will primarily stage the ice sports of the Winter Olympics, as well as the opening and closing ceremonies of the games. And this is the National Stadium.
Yeah.
And also known as the Bird's Nest. And this iconic stadium was hosting the opening and closing of the ceremonies back in 2008.
Wow,
National
fancy.
Aquatic Century.
Center. Yep.
National Indoor Stadium.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's also in Beijing. Wuxang Sports Center or Century or however you want to pronounce it. It's
fancy.
Good to go. It's all up to you.
Fancy.
National Speed Skating Oval. Wow. Capital Indoor Stadium. Wow. Big Air Shanghai.
Whoa.
Shangang.
Whoa. Look at that thing.
I think that's in Beijing, but I'm not sure.
For hockey,
Beijing Olympic Village. Wow, that looks pretty bare, those accommodations right there, but nice nonetheless.
Oh, you better be good because you can't leave them once you go in.
National Sliding Century, Canada Wood Group. China's first national sliding center that will host bobsleigh, skeleton, and luge tracks event for the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. So this is tweeted from Canada Wood Group.
Yay.
National Alpine Ski Century with all the fake snow, right?
Yep.
Because look, I mean, it's absolutely bare.
I know.
There's no snow here. Nothing.
Well,
on the hills here.
Yeah, it's kind of fake snow. Fake. Yeah, okay.
Yangon Olympic Village. Very nice. Zhangjiakou Zone.
That's a nice looking room.
It's a popular Chinese ski destination. National Biathlon Center. National Ski Jumping Century. Wow, that looks fancy.
Oh, it's fancy.
National Cross Country Center. And it keeps going. Genting Snow Park.
Fake snow park.
This unless they're doing a really good job with the fake snow, this looks like it has, well.
No, it's all fake, dude.
They're going crazy. Zhangjiakou Olympic Village. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
moving on. Olympic corporate partner proud of sponsorship.
We got the dirt.
Despite China's treatment of Uyghurs. This is big.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for all you folks out there that might accuse us of fake news, this is coming from the non-fake news source of all time, Fox News, the anti-fake news source of the world.
But
this is pretty.
Hold on a sec.
This is getting complicated. And I'll tell you why it's getting complicated. Because it's getting complicated because it is. All right.
We got Eddie Rail in the chat. Meanwhile, Tesla had a patent for free energy in 1884. Oh, Tesla had a patent for free energy in 1884. Yeah, we covered Tesla last year.
Yeah, we did.
Streams. We're going to do some more on Nikola Tesla.
Nicky.
He was a good guy, I think.
Yeah, well, anyway, see, the corporations, it's different now because you got like oil companies Western oil companies that have invested in, say, Kazakhstan or something like that. So now we've got corporations that have invested in China heavily. So it's not as easy to maneuver, and some of them are backing the Olympics and getting called into question because of the treatment of the Uyghurs up there. Uyghurs.
FoxNews.com. China is using the 2022 Winter Olympics
roll it, baby.
to legitimize its human rights abuses. A human rights researcher told Fox News Beijing is set to host the Olympics starting early February. The U.S. government and advocacy groups have accused China of persecuting Uyghurs and other Turkic Muslims and using them for forced labor in the Chinese region of Xinjiang. It's not just a sports event. The Chinese government is using the event to showcase the country, to legitimize the standing of the country, to legitimize its policies, including the many human rights abuses. Yang Wang, a senior China researcher with Human Rights Watch, told Fox News, to be part of that is to be used as a tool by the Chinese Communist Party to legitimize its abuses, including the situation in Xinjiang. Wang said that is why the rest of the world should stay away from the Olympic Games. Well, they pretty much are, because they're not even allowed to go.
Yeah, well, they're saying they shouldn't even watch them, but I want to watch the figure skating. I like that.
Oh, God.
Oh, come on.
But, yeah, it's just bizarre how CCP's hosting the Olympics, and they're like,
well, it's complicated.
We're going to host the Olympics, but if you come here and you disrespect us and you say anything remotely that's critical of us, we're going to detain you.
Well, there's a few factors going on here.
That's completely insane.
We haven't mentioned that there's a number of countries, including Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom, and a few others, are boycotting diplomatically the Olympics this year. China has said that they do not care; it won't affect them. Then on the next breath, they're saying there'll be repercussions for that. Other things like the NHL, National Hockey League, has told its professional players, don't go, stay home, play here. So Canada's and the United States are sending amateur teams this year. So go boys, and let's see how our amateurs stand up. Once upon a time, our amateurs beat Russia in Lake Placid in the early '60s. So maybe our amateur players will rise to the occasion.
Hockey will be good. Hockey will be good.
Well, Canada won the gold medal last time in Vancouver. Well, back in 2010, we won. Wonderful game, by the way. We beat the United States, but if you weren't watching. But anyhow, this year's
video here. China reports, and just what the journalists. So they're obviously letting in a small amount of journalists, but it's going to be a fiasco. So this quick video.
The Committee to Protect Journalists in New York on January 11th issued instructions for journalists who are flying to Beijing to cover the Winter Olympics. The guidelines particularly focused on how to deal with the Chinese Communist Party's, CCP's, surveillance and cyber theft practices. In general, cautious steps should be taken not only when reporters are in China, but also before they fly to the country and when they are returning from it. Among the many things to prepare, journalists are advised not to install China's social media WeChat app on their devices, noting that it can collect a lot of personal information, such as text messages and phone conversations. They are also reminded that landlines from hotels in China or any unencrypted mobile phone is likely to be intercepted. Any conversation held by the reporter in the hotel rooms is expected to be overheard. And as journalists come back from China, they must remove the SIM cards used in China from their phones and change passwords of all accounts accessed in China.
So I think I may have another article on this, but so the CCP are going to be handing out custom SIMs. The SIMs are the little cards that you stick into your cell phone that give you cell phone access.
Yes, right.
So they're going to have to use CCP designated SIM cards for their internet connectivity. But CCP is saying it's not a regular China SIM card. It's not going to be. You're not going to be blocked behind their firewall. So supposedly they're going to open up certain things. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see if there's some kind of reports from journalists there that talk about what level of censorship is occurring.
They're not going to. They're not going to know too. I mean, that's the thing about this surveillance stuff. 9 times out of 10.
SIMs card. So they're going to have full control of every reporter. They could remotely turn off data to any one of these devices. Mm-hmm. So from a aspect of just control, it's genius on the CC Part's behalf. But I wouldn't recommend you do it if you're a nation state. But it is genius. All right. So moving on. How are companies working with CCP? Let's do this one real quick, and then I really want to go over this one with Google and IBM reference to China, which is not directly Olympics related, but Intel strikes.
Everything ties together. Let's face it. This doesn't happen in a bubble.
This is from Ground.news, which basically groups articles together. Intel strikes Xinjiang reference from memo after backlash. U.S. chipmaker Intel has deleted references to Xinjiang from an annual letter to suppliers. The company faced a backlash in China for asking suppliers to avoid the sanctions-hit region. The United States has accused China of widespread human rights abuses in Xinjiang, home to the country's predominantly Muslim Uyghurs. So this is just, Intel is backing down from this, but U.S. State Department is basically, they're trying to get this movement together to boycott any kind of slave labor, Uyghur-related goods from coming to the U.S., but I don't think that's going to go very well. The next one is big. I'm going to be working on, maybe have it as like a main topic or a big side story, but Google is working with the CCP on surveillance tech for Chinese citizens, and IBM also. And this is from the Intercept.com. But I want to do some more research and see how far the rabbit hole goes down with this, how extensive it is, maybe getting more in-depth technical specifications, statistics, but that'll be hard to come by. But the Intercept.com reports American organization founded by tech giants Google and IBM is working with a company that's helping China's authoritarian government conduct mass surveillance against its citizens. The Intercept can reveal. See that? The Intercept can reveal. So the powers be say it's okay for you to report on this. The Open Power Foundation, a nonprofit led by Google and IBM executives with the aim of trying to drive innovation, has set up a collaboration between the IBM Chinese company Semptian and U.S. chip manufacturer Xilinx. Together, they have worked to advance a breed of microprocessors that enable computers to analyze vast amounts of data more efficiently. It's all about data mining and surveilling and controlling the Chinese population. Shenzhen-based Semptian is using the devices to enhance the capabilities of internet surveillance and censorship technology it provides to human rights abusing security agencies in China, according to sources and documents. Company employees said that its technology is being used to covertly monitor the internet activity of 200 million people. But check out the rest of the article if you want. It's in the show notes. Google, 5-10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, it was really hard for Google to get into the Chinese markets, but now they're doing stuff like this with within China with the CCP, because Google's not allowed. You can't use Google search engine in China. So Google's got to make money somehow, so they might as well work with the CCP on surveilling their citizens, right? So
we're going to follow this one up.
That's I think that's a big one. So maybe February, maybe March, around there.
Sure.
And then China makes a show of opening up its internet. That's basically the SIM card. Well, I'm not going to go through it because we're running out of time, but there's a YouTube video on the SIM card that the CCP is giving out to reporters and other people heading to the Olympics there. Yeah,
another quick note, too, just to wrap this part up. There's questions about all the official, when you go to the Olympics, the host country gives you all kinds of swag, something we all get. Free jackets and mementos and stuff. Well, it turns out a lot of those might have been made by those same slave labor camps up north. So, ick. All right, you're going to move on to Kazakhstan?
I'm going to do crypto in Kazakhstan and also Jack Dorsey and Block, but I just want to check in on chat. We've got Eddie Rail saying we were never told the truth. He was a genius. He made Edison look smart. I believe you're referencing
Tesla
there, and
Nichols.
Anywhere it says Charles Proteus Steinmetz was the real electrical engineering genius in the so-called Tesla era.
Ooh, let's look into that.
Anywhere, feel free to post some links on the midget Charles Proteus Steinmetz.
Yeah,
you can post links in the chat anywhere if you like.
Go for it.
And moving on, Russia has built network infrastructure to help turn off the internet at the country level. Was Russia involved in the internet blackout? Do not have direct details on that, but Russia has a kill switch for its own network. Canuck, you sent me a recent article about malware spreading in Ukraine. Yeah. There's a lot going on in Russia and Putin and the internet for all those old Soviet bloc countries.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to do something the next week or two with the situation with Russia. We covered China this week, but we'll get back to Russia because there's ongoing things with the Ukraine. Russia purportedly hacking into the Ukrainian government web services and taking them over. So we're going to have to go deep on that. I did send you a link about the 18% Bitcoin hash rate that exists in Kazakhstan. And my source, Monsieur T, said that he felt that was Russia was involved in. One of the reasons Russia wanted to get involved was that they don't like Bitcoin mining, and that was going on next door to them. So whatever you got on that.
And we're just going back to 2019. This is from Forbes.com. Putin now has Russia's internet kill switch to stop U.S. cyber attacks. And basically, it's just a way to just disconnect from the world. Basically, I mean, this is. I mean, if Russia is doing this at that level, then it's we need to monitor as they're probably going to go into Ukraine soon. Kazakhstan, they're already there.
We'll have to go into.
So will this develop to where that whole region has some type of kill switch? Because this is all about blocking Western influence, blocking U.S. and Canada, Australia, UK, what have you.
Nice.
But interesting nonetheless. Kazakhstan, as Canuck already mentioned, 18% of the hash rate. And what is the long-term future for Kazakhstan mining Bitcoin? And it looks like there's probably getting operations back up and running in Kazakhstan, but this is from finance.yahoo.com. Kazakhstan's Bitcoin mining industry, the world's second largest, has been severely disrupted for a second day by nationwide internet blackout and widespread protests. Didar Kakbao, co-founder of Kazakh mining firm Zive, tweeted yesterday, "No internet, no mining," and Norway-based researcher Jaron Muller confirmed to CoinDesk that it is next to impossible to mine without the internet. Top mining pools had lost an average of 10% of their hash rate in 24 hours as of 6 a.m. But this was posted January 6th, and this is, I think, the reason why Bitcoin has been lulling even more down in the 40,000 range. But it's starting to tick back up, and further in the article, looks like the internet connection is down in all of Kazakhstan. Alan Dordovitz, head of the Kazakhstan National Association of Blockchain and Data Industry, told CoinDesk on Thursday. Therefore, none of the farms are able to connect to the mining pools. But this is something I'm going to be monitoring and see if they can get back to the 18% hash rate, or is Russia and or the revolt inside Kazakhstan going to create long-term disruptions. And then we move on to Jack Dorsey, and this is definitely something I'm going to be looking into myself. He's into the crypto craze now, and it appears he may be looking at trying to sell an affordable Bitcoin async miner. Async miners are dedicated miners. Basically, when you buy them, they can only mine maybe one coin, maybe two, but they're very specialized. And this is from markets.businessinsider.com. Jack Dorsey says Block is building a Bitcoin mining system so that anyone can easily buy a rig. So if you're looking to get into the mining game, definitely check this out, see how it unfolds. But he confirmed Thursday that Block is building Bitcoin mining system after flagging the idea in October. So he made that shift, left Twitter, and now he's focusing on Block and a few other things. As part of the project, Block is looking at how to make it easy for anyone, anywhere to buy a mining rig. It's a step forward in Block's crypto ambitions after C.A. Dorsey shifted focus on leaving Twitter. Block is going ahead with building a Bitcoin mining system that will be open to individuals and businesses worldwide. As part of the project, the digital payments company will look at how to make it easy for anyone, anywhere, to buy a mining rig. Dorsey's also what the hell is it? Stripe, right? Let me just look that up quick. I think Dorsey. Square, right? Square, Dorsey, and Square Payments. Yeah, Square, Jack Dorsey's payments company. So Dorsey has Square. I don't know if anybody runs a small business or whatever. You can get those things where it's hooked up to like an iPad or whatever. You can swipe a credit card and
oh yeah,
and sell whatever you want.
Yeah,
that is that's what Dorsey's been doing. So, and now he's getting into Bitcoin. So, imagine he's going to be combining everything.
Well, that's the beauty of, you see, he's got a lot of money, and that must be fun. Like, you got a lot of money, you can go, oh, I think I'll go into this business or that business. It's kind of neat. I want to try that sometime. I got to get rich first, but whatever.
So
that's
we'll
just
see.
A detail.
We will see, and I may just pick up. I have to see how it unfolds, but I may just pick up if this async miner the block comes out with looks decent. I might pick a couple up, depending on how much they cost. That'd be
great. You can make a YouTube video on using it
and put it in my Tesla and drive around and mine Bitcoin or something.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can mine Bitcoin with a Tesla. We got a video on that. Maybe we'll show it to you next week. All right.
Actually, yeah, it's 5:17.
Let's go ahead and talk about Jack.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah, we can't. I want to do this video, but we don't have time. So let's do editorial.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, folks. Well, we've been watching all these freaking shows, and there's all these people out there, and they're getting a lot of viewers because they give their opinion. Now, the Canuck, the Yankee and I, we've been trying to be good journalists and keep our opinions, veiled to a certain extent. But we've given up. So we're going to do an editorial today, and it has to do with climate change. All right? Now, if this isn't going to be controversial, then we'll pick something else that'll be controversial. But anyhow, all right.
I just want to check
what
chat real quick. Eddie Rail says,
"I just getting going, dude."
I know.
Oh,
but Eddie Rail says, "How do you mine bitcoins? What are they made of?" You basically, the basics are you set up a mining rig. It's a computer. It's dedicated hardware, what have you, and you mine to a crypto wallet. So it's just all digital, and you accrue Bitcoin digitally. And it has cryptographic signatures and all that, blah blah blah. But it's just all digital.
Yeah, all
just wanted to. He had asked, and sorry, but
that's very nice of you.
I ruined your stream of consciousness for this editorial. I want to apologize.
I'm sorry, but it reminds me of like maybe when I was married, I start giving my opinion, and then the subject could completely change. All right, the heck with my opinion then. Nobody cares.
The editorial is about climate change.
Nobody cares. All right, I'll give it anyway. All right, going back to what I was saying. I'm going to phone my agent. Hang on, let me phone him. Oh, my agent's me. Okay, he says everything's fine. All right, settle down. All right, here's the thing. All right, semantics. Semantics is basically value judgments on words, how words are used, that sort of nifty stuff. And you can actually study this in school. My daughter graduated with a major in semantics. Okay. So anyhow, climate change. Now, my friend Monsieur T turned me on to this. He is really, really down on pollution. Like really down. Like he's greener than the Greens on this. But climate change? It's just a number of factors, which there is. And it could be from a number of different things. And it could be this and that. So here's the point, people. Something for you to contemplate. Get your mojo working. It is very possible that this climate change thing is what we call a red herring, which is something that is to divert you away from the real problem. And the real problem is pollution. Like back when I was a kid, it was about pollution. In other words, say the local pulp mill, paper pulp mill, was polluting a stream. So people get together and they stop the local pulp mill from polluting the stream. Now, the point I'm trying to get to is climate change is very big. It's a big thing. I'm not saying that we shouldn't pay attention to it, but pollution happens all around you. In other words, look out your window, and I'll bet you can find something that's being polluted. Well, maybe not at my house because I'm in the woods, but deal with that. And actually, by dealing with individual pollution problems, you're probably going to be helping out the overall environment, which might help out this global warming thing. So, next time you get all bent out of shape about global warming, try getting bent out of shape about pollution. And then pick something that's polluting. Because you're breathing bad air, people. You may be drinking bad water. I mean, that's affecting you directly. Climate change may affect you. It might not affect you. And that's my editorial. That's it.
So, I have in the show notes Canuck for the editorial on climate change. Call it pollution, not climate change. That's the basics of it.
It's easy.
I am going to ramble on a few other things.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
Yeah, so I have my notes here. Just some basics. Climate change regulation is starting to hurt small businesses. And you see climate change everywhere in social media. You have everybody's favorite politician, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And she says the world said, I think it was 2 years ago, that the world was going to end in 12 years. So I guess it's 10 years now. But there's all this hysteria. And then you have large corporations that have the resources to accommodate the climate legislation that exists now and the continued climate legislation, because it's pretty much certain, right? We're going to get more and more of it.
Yeah.
And they're using it in PR campaigns to make it seem like they are helping the climate when that doesn't appear as so. They're just getting on the PR bandwagon and trying to, say that they're we're a large corporation, but we're not destroying the climate.
Well, that goes to what I was saying, and I think that it is possible, conspiracy theory of the week, that they actually like this climate change thing because it keeps people distracted from their pollution things. So you go, oh, well, we lowered our carbon footprint, but we destroyed this river that's next to us, that kind of thing. This is going on all the time. And unfortunately, a lot of it's irreversible, especially with mining, the tailings ponds and the tearing apart of the earth for materials. And anyway, all right.
But, and it's that's the whole thing. It's climate change. How are we going to solve it? And then the hysteria makes it even harder to solve it. And the reality is, how are you going to? You can't find a solution for climate change because the climate is constantly changing.
Well, that's
and
just
it. There's the parameters are not defined well enough. And I mean, what do we? We can analyze. Yes, winters are getting warmer. It seems like, and there's more erratic storms. More powerful storms in some way, but
exactly. I mean, but that's what I'm getting to. It's like it's just too big. It's too big. It's climate change, the whole thing. It's just too pollution. Good old fashioned down home pollution. Because actually, by reducing pollution, you're probably going to improve the climate change situation. But trying to take on climate change, I think it's just too much. Anyway.
And really, what in my mind, what we should be focusing on is fixing the power grid across the U.S. I mean, I think Canada's probably overall less populated and not as dense in a lot of areas. It doesn't have as many issues with the power grid. But U.S., there's 3 main connectors for the entire country's Texas, and then there's the East, and then there's the West. That all needs to be upgraded. We should be harnessing nuclear power. No, it doesn't have to be a 100-year solution that we depend on nuclear power.
Well,
but
also,
we need good power backup. We need power of nuclear power to make sure that the grid stays stable.
Yeah, and also I think that conservation is something that isn't dwelled upon enough. Like, let's say you have a really, really huge house. If you don't try to heat the whole house, you'll lower your carbon footprint, stuff like that. In other words, by conserving even 10%, 15% of what you normally do would have a huge impact on the entire grid and on the overall situation. So the overconsumption, like Las Vegas, I was in Las Vegas. It's the middle of the night. It's winter. There's nobody around. And there's like 1.15 million lights on, all flashing away. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could be utilizing automation, turning devices off, on, become more efficient, stuff like that. But are they moving forward? Are they just going to focus on the consumer and then just create regulations that affect the consumer negatively and point their finger at the consumer and say, you have to be more energy efficient, but don't give us any kind of tools or resources to get there? Things like that, and demand.
And also,
everything is power efficient.
Okay, it's all fine and well to do regulations, maybe not fine and well, but the thing is, you got to get the people motivated. You got to make the people want to do this. There's got to be more unity, more sense of purpose. Okay, it's officially we're supposed to be done in 3 minutes. That's not going to happen. So maybe we should move on to the bizarro.
We'll get the large Olympic snowman up. Let's pound through this. It's just real quick, but it's rather disturbing, I think. Let us know in the chat. Are you disturbed by this snowman? This is in Harbin City, Northeast China, January 8th, 2022.
Pretending this is a dream. Like you're dreaming, and it's these beautiful old buildings, and all of a sudden, this thing appears in the middle. And
I'm going to turn off the music.
Yeah, it's just cheeseball music anyway.
We're going to get a copyright strike.
Get us in trouble. There we go. Why these people work fast, eh?
I don't understand why those resources were wasted to build this snowman.
Well, it's pretty stupid looking, but it's happy.
It's like it's the worst snowman. The two hearts in the center there, it makes no sense. It looks horrible. Aesthetically, it's just wrong in every way.
Well, it's next to these beautiful buildings, and then they got this cheeseball friggin' oversized.
Yeah, it's just everything aesthetically about it just doesn't make sense. But we're gonna move on to Professor Offensive.
Now this guy.
If you are easily offended, please don't watch the stream.
No, I mean now. I think we can't play the whole thing because it's 14 minutes. We don't have much time. But I strongly suggest that if you want to be amazed, click on the YouTube link in the show notes. And actually, I like this guy. I mean, obviously.
I know, from what I remember, he didn't start really laying in hard with profanity until.
5 minutes.
5 minutes or so.
I'll just play the first couple minutes so people can get a feel for the guy, and then please go back and watch this. It'll make your day. It's better than football.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
So let me take this off. Turn that off.
Professor Offensive on YouTube.
Man, I just got in from Rigel 7. The intergalactic internet is all abuzz about this planet. I don't know whether you people have noticed, but it's dangerous to breathe the air. Many of your experts are advising wearing masks because there's a deadly virus spreading around the planet. Your civilization is collapsing and life on your planet is going extinct. maybe you just didn't notice, but the level of suffering on this planet is going through the roof. At any rate, welcome to the new season of my show, More Bad News, brought to you by Camel Cigarettes. Yes, that's Camel Cigarettes. When I was your age, more doctors smoked Camels than any other cigarette. Let me just show you that. I'm going to share my screen and we'll when I was your age, look at that. More doctors
play the video. Camels.
Here we go. Here, share the screen.
He's taking this out of a. It looks like Libre, the open source word processor.
You know, if you were to follow a busy doctor as he makes his round of calls, you would find yourself having a mighty busy time keeping up with him. Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose. In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Checking out the chat, Eddie Rail says, seen it?
Nationwide survey.
Are you referencing our dear doctor here? Checking out the chat, Eddie Rail says, monitor on Canuck.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Professor, are you referencing the doctors smoking a Camel or the professor?
Well, you know,
Professor Offensive.
When I was a kid, 15 years old, I took their advice and started with Camels. And I mean, see, we got to make America great again, because this was America in the 50s, where they were endorsing cigarettes on air.
Oh, doctors smoking cigarettes on air.
Yeah, like what happened to
and we're gonna
the freedom
let's just get this one snippet in of Professor Offensive. I just want to get it in here.
Professor at Ferris State has been placed on administrative leave because of a vulgar course video sent to students.
Stop it.
And we're gonna pay in union jobs.
I don't know. But yeah, you got to watch the whole video, folks.
They beep out the curse words so you don't get offended.
I'm a tenured professor.
But this guy's classic, dude.
That is Professor Barry Mailer. The university says he sent the video to
He goes on this rant to the students.
In that clip, he is paraphrasing.
Just stay home.
Wow. You really found a jewel in this, Canuck. Thank you for getting it into the show.
My friend Paul in Vancouver sent me the link.
All right.
Well, actually, yeah, he turned me on to it. I found the YouTube link, though. Yeah, I think it's great. So just think about it, folks. 9 out of 10 doctors support Camel cigarettes. And this professor, he got in a lot of trouble, too, for posting it. But I think watch it, form your own opinion. And I guess that's a wrap, then. I guess we burned up the freaking track again there, Yank. God darn it. Oh,
yeah, but we'll have more crypto news definitely for the next Canuck and Yankee, and I'm doing a crypto show every Monday. I'll have a broadcast at 6 p.m. every Monday, whether it's live or rebroadcast, but I'll figure it out. So look for that and additional shows through the week. And
yeah, we got things coming up.
Like to thank Eddie. Go ahead, Canuck.
Oh, we've got the Canuck on the Street series starting probably pretty soon.
Oh, wow, yeah, the live stream. We're going to do a live stream from Vancouver, raw.
Oh, we're going to start with the live stream from Nelson, BC. We're going to be streaming up a storm. I'll be out there on the front lines. Yankee will be holding down the fort in the control room. And I'll go where you're not supposed to go and find out what you're not supposed to know and send it to you. There you go. All right.
That's a basic Sunday. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Eddie Rail says, have a great night. Bye now. Thank you for hanging out and doing your thing in the chat. We have no let in the chat, but it's cute. Noting
Eddie
that.
Rail, any word.
All right,
you
guys.
Folks. We love you.
We'll see you on the next stream. I'd like to thank everybody for your support. And Pirate Chain, yes. Long live the pirates of the world. Take care, everybody, and be safe.
My tree. I love my woman.